Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of July 15th through the 19th. I will go over price targets, have a gap recap from the week of July 8th through the 12th, and I will update the chart. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is NIO. We ended the week at $4.87, up 4%. This is where we are at the middle of the trend. To the north side takes us to resistance at 2 standard deviations and a potential take profit area at 497. Above that, 502, and at 4 standard deviations, 508. If we hit this level, I will anticipate a pullback as people take their profits and run. They will lock in and they will leave. Now, to the south side, at a level of support, 475, I should say one level of support, and another one, 470, and 464. There are many levels of support and resistance, all along -4 and 4 standard deviations. Now looking left, as far as the previous gaps go, this gap closed out to the upside, touched right here. And from the previous week, again, all I do is I just extend it. I have no idea where it's going to touch. And it did right here, even though I moved it all the way to this edge from the week previous. So this gap is no longer in play to the upside. And this gap is still in play to the downside. And this gap as well. And that will eventually take us to 413, but we are in an upward channel on the 5, moving farther away from that gap. And this gap is still in play to the upside. And I'm just looking at from this point Monday to this point Friday, and we are in a strong upward channel on the 5 again. And above that, I think, I've got a couple other gaps here as well. I've been making gap and go trade videos for 32 weeks now. So rotating a bunch of tickers in and out as they hit certain price targets that I'm looking at. The next one is RIVN. And note, I did turn on the bot for the buy and sell signals, and I'll talk about that in a second. So right now we are at $18.11 for RIVN, up a whopping 8%. To the north side, resistance takes us to 1840. Another level of resistance, 1918, 1956, $20 to the south side, 1760. 1719 and 1679. Turn on your Bollinger Bands, your VWAP, draw your trend lines so you can get other levels of support and resistance. Now looking left, clearly you can see the sell signal at resistance, 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 resistance here, and then the buying signal. Didn't quite make it down to this red line, but close enough. Here's your buy signals, your buy, and your buy as we hit support. Now, as far as the gaps go, this gap is still in play to the downside, taking us to $12, but we are moving farther away from that target as we are in an upward channel. And this gap closed right here at 1776. Let me take this to the 15 minutes so it's easier for me to look left with this, because you can only see, I'm trying to scroll and it won't. So now I'm going to go to the 30 minutes so you can see this. Oops. So this gap has been in play since about January 17th. 16th, 17th. And we finally hit it. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 weeks. I've been tracking this sucker. All right. A trader named Marat has been trading this and tracking it. So then I started tracking it as well on a regular basis. So this is done. Done. And again, let me just go to the 30. So the next one is this one, this gap. It's quite the target at 23-ish. I'll go back on the 5-minute, make sure my drawing is correct, but let's carry on here. Got a lot of tickers to go through. And the next one above that is, I went to RIVN, but I skipped, what the heck? SOFI. I'll have to get down to TSLA too in a second. SOFI. We ended the week at 697, up 2.95%. The middle of the trend takes us to 704, 718, 726, 734, 689, 682, 674. And looking left, this gap is still in play for this upcoming week. Oops. And that is from here to here. And we are moving away from this target because we are in an upward channel, as you can see. But I will extend that because someday, if and when we reverse, these will get knocked out. And that's it for the downside. And then the target to the upside that I'm tracking, that will be carried over into this week, upcoming week, takes us from 744 to 786. And then I believe there are other gaps too, which I will figure out one gap at a time later. So I've given you the price targets, I've cleaned up the chart and done the gap recap. Now let's look at TSLA. I should have taken my profits and I didn't because we reversed course because Tesla came out with some bad news, which was they were delaying the robo car and there was some sort of design delay. So that made the stock reverse course. And then Elon Musk yesterday also came out and said he is supporting Trump because of the assassination attempt. And what happened was disgusting. I'm thoroughly disgusted by it. I cannot believe this kid tried to shoot the president. I don't care how much you hate the president. That is not cool. And just makes politics, makes people want to either support Trump more or just, the system is just disgusting. Okay, that's enough. I will stick to the charts here. TSLA, 1655 is where we ended, up nearly 3%. Politics makes my blood boil. Okay, to the north side, 1702, 1732, and 1760. 1644, 1586, 1558, and 1528. This whole Trump assassination thing, when you you move forward in time, you always think, oh, where were you? People ask, where were you when such and such happened? And they'll be asking, where were you when Trump got assassinated? Well, I had no idea that there was even a rally. And I was on my treadmill working out, and then I get a ding from my Democratic friend saying that there was an attempt on his life, and I was in shock. Okay, so those are your targets to the south side here, taking us to 1528. I digress. And this gap still in play here, taking us to 1771. And this gap touched right here, no longer a threat to our account to the south side, closing out at 1680. Delete. And, oh, wait a minute. No, sorry. It's hard to see because I have gaps within gaps. All right, let's just move this forward so I don't get that confused with anything else. This one to the downside, 1483 closes, and this one to the downside at 1319. Obviously, if we get down to this level, it will be a better entry point if you're trying to build a position. But we may not get to that. We could hit here and then reverse up, or here and reverse up. You just never know. So sometimes you think, oh, I'll just wait till it closes out these gaps, but it may never, or it could take a very long time to do so. Maybe when we close out this one, I'll get out of my position. So I just did RIVN already. Let's look at Pfizer. But there are two of them that closed today. But I want to see something RIVN on, yeah. I thought that RIVN was closed out, but on the 45-minute time frame, there was that gap that wait, what is this? Oh, wait, that's not it. It's this. I need to make sure. Okay. I'm switching it so that you could see the gap. If you want to see the gap, flick it over to candles. If you don't, and you just want a smooth chart, see here, you can see the gap. If you want a smooth chart, you go to where is the Heiken Ashi? There. And let me just move it back for now. So we have this gap, excuse me, all the way to the upside. Now back to the 5-minute. Oh, here's my public service announcement as well. Let me go to the 5-minute, flip it over to Pfizer. I'm in this trade, I think, for both myself and for my mom. For sure, my mom. So the week that I'm tracking is from here to here in an upward channel. We are at 28.92, up 0.91%. Resistance, 28.97, middle of the trend, 29.26, 29.55, 29.70, 29.85 to the south side. 28.84, 28.69. As far as the gaps go, this gap opened up this past week, still in play. This gap as well, and then this gap here. I just read some article that some state is suing Pfizer for misleading comments about the COVID vaccine. And President Biden gave pharmaceutical companies immunity from being sued, but not for false and misleading comments. And that's what they're getting sued for. All these things coming out about the shots. I never got one. I never will. I don't want a third eye. I already have enough health problems. This cough, this allergy that I'm suffering from. Excuse me, it's terrible. All right. And then this gap to the upside, $30. Oops, Command Z. 30.36. Intel. I have this for my mom as well. We ended the week at 34.49, up 2.96%. We are at the middle of the trend, and from here down, this is now support. And to the north side, 35.52, 36.03, and we will not get to this level on Monday, maybe at some other point, 36.52, and 33.50, 32.98, and 32.50. 32.03 is where this gap will take us, opened up last week. This gap also still in play. And note the sell signals at resistance here, clear resistance here, here, and here. Well, you have a little bit of more room to move there, but that's where I like to sell, or here or here. This is getting greedy and greedier. And then I anticipate a fall down from this level back to support for a potential leg up. But at resistance, expect a pullback. Buy, as you can see with the bot, the cues it is giving you. And this gap still in play. I was also watching YouTube and I saw that the actress Shannon Doherty died from complications of breast cancer. Very sad, whether you liked her or not. Okay, and this, what is this? Why did I mark that? Oh, that takes us all the way up to 35. That's a big gap. Oh, did it touch? Oops, well, I'll just move that out of the way for now. Look at this, it did touch, and it touched last week. Didn't notice that until just now. And that took us to $35. What was the high? Oops. Where is it? Oh, here we go. 35.48. So that took us to 35, and then we ran all the way up to here as well. 35.48. Oh, right here. Nice. All right, this is no longer in play, so we are done and done. So that started at 31.95. And now we are at the middle of the trend and support. So we could bounce off of here or flush to the south side, which is in the realm that I talk about, -2 and 2 standard deviations all day long. So we could touch that on Monday if we flush to the south side. SLB. I wrote a note for myself earlier. Oh, yeah. SLB, not on this ticker, but first let me give you the price targets. Again, I am just looking at from here to here for the week in a strong upward channel. Oops. All right, we are at the middle of the trend, resistance, or one level of it, 47.10, 47.44, and 47.82 to the south side. Let me move this out of the way. 45.65, 45.30, and 44.94. This gap opened up last week and closed out. So that was a quick little opportunity. We fell all the way down, made our way back up, climbed our way, scratched our way, clawed our way. But we did it right here. So that took us to roughly 46.22-ish. So that's done. And note the buy signals here. This gap still in play. It's kind of small. It's hard to drag out because it's compressed. I have to make it larger so I can grab a certain handle on here. And SLB, oh no, there's another one all the way up here. So That's something to look forward to at, what are we at? 50.93. Very nice, but we are quite a ways away from that. So don't hold your breath. It's going to whip us around. Oops. See this line? I accidentally went and moved too fast and clicked some things I shouldn't have. You just hit Command Z. Oh boy, I did that a long time ago. Look at that. Come on. I'll fix my chart later. There we go. Well, that does it for that ticker. Let's go to CVS. In an upward channel right now as well. So here we are, 59, middle of the trend and support, 59.71, 60.05, and 60.44. To the south side, 58.32, 57.97, and 57.60. So in the beginning of the week, we were at 56.62. We ended the week at 59. But at the lowest of this week, let me just do something for giggles. The lowest point was here, and the high point, let me move this out of the way again. The high point was here at resistance for a return of 6.7%, but for the day on Friday, we're up just 1.36. Very nice. So this gap, oh wow, taking us to, where are we? Going to take us to 67.70. This is still in play. So I'll drag that out. And this one, what's going on with this one? I don't think a touch. Nope, still in play to the upside at 60.62. Very close. The high was 59.57. And as far as the south side, I am not tracking anything that I can see there. Nike. Hit Command R, reset. So we are, Command R, that's not it. Stay on page. Sorry, Option R. We're at 73.42, barely up nothing. 73.54, 74.68, 75.30, 75.91, 72.30, 71.73, 71.11. Gosh darn it, Option R. Note the clear buy signal down here. All right, there are no gaps from last week, but there is a gap to the upside. Ignore the yellow lines. Those are previous support and resistance. That will take us up to 94.42. And these gaps closed. I'll have to clean that up. Yeah, this thing tanked after earnings. People took their profits. And nothing to the south side, fortunately. And we are in an upward channel. Okay, this one, HYG, is next. Something I'll point out for you in just a moment. Let me move this out of the way. We ended the week at 77.98, up 0.25%. To the north side, resistance 78.04, 78.17, 78.23, and 78.29. To the south side, 77.93, 77.87, 77.80. Looking left, with your gap recap, this gap is still in play for the upcoming week. I have no idea where it's going to touch. I'll just extend it and then clean it up. Oh, and we have a gap here too that opened up last week. This gap still in play from the 2 weeks ago now. This gap closed and I didn't catch it, so let me clean that up with you and show you what I do if you don't do this already. This closed to the upside at 77.14, where I looked at price, and then we gapped down in the beginning of that week, and we made our way, clawed our way back up. Very nice. And then I saw something else I need to clean up right there. And then this one, I like to play gaps. That did not touch technically, I don't think. I don't know. Should I give it a win? Yeah, I'll just give it a win instead of extending it out. But even if I extended it out, it touched right here if you don't think that that touched. All right. Oh, this one, yeah, touched down here. All right, I'm done with this one. And no gaps to the south side. We touched here at 77. Oh, wait, what am I saying? We touched right here. Okay, not extending it. We touched right here. But let me move this out of the way because when we gapped up, we also created another gap. Let me turn on the magnet so I can get this level more precisely. There. So we gapped up, so this will take us down, and this gap to the downside. But for the purposes of my gap and go trades, I do not look for gaps to the south side. I look for gaps to the upside. I play the long game. So I was tracking this gap all the way to 77.55. Let me show you what this looks like on the daily. So in the big picture, option R. So I started tracking this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks ago, and we hit the gap that I originally talked about to the upside at 77.75, and it took 9 weeks and it finally hit. So congratulations if you made some money off of that. But on the daily time frame, I will show you. So on the low side, we were here from where I started tracking, and then 77.98. That's just a 3% return there. But hey, that's better than leaving your money in Chase, where it pays 0.001 or 2%, which is a joke. Take your money out of Chase, put it into a money market fund or a high yield interest. And maybe if you have Chase like I do, ask if they have it. If not, dump them. There are other banks. There is competition if you shop around. Save yourself money, just like I shop around for landlord policies all the time. And let me delete that. I used to have Geico for over a decade and didn't do price shopping, let it go, made it my life easier, put everything onto Geico, and that was a mistake. I shop every single time my insurance renews, because that's the only way you can save money. Unlike one of my HOAs, this one, they have yet to get a new bid for our Community Association Management, CAMCO, and that makes me disgusted. Like, why would you want to continue to pay people when you can get better customer service, better service, lower fees, and save the association money? Let's use some common sense, people. Okay, that's my diatribe. Back to HYG. Be aware of several gaps to the south side, but because price has closed out where I am tracking, I will no longer be tracking this for my gap and go trades. I will remove HYG for the future tickers that I will go through. I thought that RIVN was also done for me, but there was that gap all the way to the upside, which I forgot to see by taking a look in the big picture, which is what you need to do to see where direction is going overall, not just on the micro time frame, like the 1, the 3, the 5, the 15, smaller time frames. Now, 105 is where we ended for DoorDash, down 0.4%. Resistance, 107.44, 109.10, and 110.68. 104.62, 101.05, 99.41, and 97.74. Note the clear buy signal, the clear sell signal. If you don't know anything else, or you're nervous about taking an entry or exiting, if you turn on the bot, the buy and sell bot, it will help you out and make the likelihood of hitting a target for you, the probability will increase. But I don't use it because that's what my lines are for. I pay for 5 indicators, so I use it sparingly, what I will look at, and I feel like the more indicators you have, sometimes it's analysis paralysis and it's just too much. So, but I just wanted to do something different and put that on for you. And looking left, no gap to talk about, I don't think. Any significant one anyway. And this gap will take us to 127.01, and we are moving in a downward channel farther away from this area. So just keep that in mind. And nothing to the south side that I'm tracking. And even if I don't mark out gaps to the south side, if we continue to go down, we will eventually probably take out those gaps to the south side. But sometimes those gaps to the south side are so far away that we don't get there, or it just takes forever. Boeing is the next one. And people have lost faith in Boeing as well. The plane crashes they've been involved in, bad management, cover-ups, parts. I mean, it's just terrible. 182.31 is where we ended, down 0.87%. Let me get a drink of water. We are at support. 184.10, 184.98, 185.87 to the south side. 180.53, 179.67, and 178.75. Note the clear buy signal. And then the clear sell, and then up here sell too. Look at that. It looked as if we were starting to make our way sideways and possibly go up, but no such luck. The clear buy signal. So nothing to the south side and just gaps to the upside. Oh, oops. One thing I do need to clean up with this gap is, so this gap has been in play for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks and closed out right here to the upside. It gapped down, so I anticipate price to go up, and it did at 190.03. So congrats if you made some money up here and then got the heck out. Okay, and then there's this gap, 198, but not close, not in the channel, not even in the zone there. Okay, that's it for Boeing. And now Tesla. Again, after the assassination attempt of President Trump, Elon is going all in for him. And he used to be a Democrat. That says a lot about Elon. And many people are bailing and jumping ship and supporting Trump after this. All right. 257.99. Well, they also bailed ship on the Democratic Party after all the charges against him as well. But this just sealed Biden's fate even more. 264.42 and 270.34. 246. And if someone can say something positive about what accomplishments Biden has done and what he's running on, that would be lovely. 234.37. But as far as I can see, he needs to go. 228.09, he is senile. 221.98, if my grandparents were like that, I would tell them they need to take it easy, get some rest, eliminate all the stress, and enjoy the rest of your life. 210.49 to the south side there. To the upside, 291.06. We are going in a downward channel, unfortunately. And this again down to 197.96. But look at all these gaps I was tracking to the upside. So they've closed out and now we've reversed. You can also think, okay, did we reverse really because of the robo-taxi news? Or is it just because we're at support and resistance, selling off at resistance? Or is it really a combination of both, or a sell-off because of bad news and then an excuse to buy because we are at support after the runoff? All right, oh, and then we've got another nasty gap down here as well. One gap at a time. This one could touch, if we're just slowly going down, maybe on Thursday, end of the week. But if we hit this target, we could bounce off of that because it is support. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of July 15th through the 19th. I will remove HYG from this list, and I accidentally put two extra tickers on this when I try only to go over 10 tickers because nobody watches this video, these gap and goes. And I want to keep it short, so I'm going to remove it and not replace it. And the next time one of the other gaps or one of the other tickers hit the gap, I will also remove it and keep this list to just 10. Maybe I'll whittle it down to 5. All right, have a great trading week.